everyone. How's everybody doing today? This lovely Tuesday. We are, we're having some kind of nice weather right now. I actually had my mentee over from Hives from Heroes yesterday and went through a few hives. And my wife, right on cue, as soon as I go live, comes in. Hey, Steve, good to see you. George, both Mikes. Grayson, good to see you, and the other people that are just joining us. Had a great month so far. It's not over yet. It's still March 31st, but I'll pop those numbers up to give you the recap of how the entire sales month has gone for me. I had a nice little order today. A nice little order from the visitor center. They got 16 creamed honeys and 8 1-pound bottles. So it was a nice little day over there. So let's see. I will pop up the dashboard just to do a quick review of it. There we go. So total for the month of March, $6,558.12 as the final number. Today's sales, $245.99, averaging $211.55 in sales per day average. So ended up being a great month, best month I've ever had. And let me find my cursor here. So that is amazing. I'm happy with that. However, the growing pains are real. The growing pains are real for sure. Constantly waiting on honey. Constantly. It's an issue. It is an issue. When you order on Monday and tomorrow will be Wednesday, and I haven't even got notification that it's packed or shipped or ready to go, anything. So it's a, one of those things that are just, we got to learn as we go and keep going. Today was a making creamed honey day. Made, let's see, what did I make? Cinnamon. I made pineapple. I made peach. I think that's all I made today. Three flavors at right now. So it's bobbing other beekeepers. Absolutely. So at any rate, good sign. Going through the colonies yesterday with my new mentee, Dot, from Hives for Heroes. And one of my boxes is almost all the way filled up with honey. And and when I say filled up, I mean and capped. So it would be very easy to pull a box, but I'm not going to do that right quite yet. Might have to do it if they don't get my honey to me. That's for sure. So we're working on it. Supply chain issues, I guess, are the biggest problem right now for me, is just making sure I have enough overflow. So at any rate, that's kind of what we've got going on here. Colonies that I went in yesterday look pretty good. The nukes that I split, they look pretty good. They're starting to grow a little bit. So before long, we'll be able to pop them into a bigger size hive for them. Well, as usual, that we have the link posted right up there in the chat. Should be pinned. Is it not pinned? Maybe I need to do it again. Maybe it did not pin. Thought it was pinned. Let me try it again. And as soon as that goes away, it says it's pinned. But I'm not seeing it as pinned at the top. So I don't know what's going on with that over here today. I don't know. It says it's pinned. Do you guys see it as pinned? Okay. So it is available I'm sure we'll probably have a Brad sighting before it's done because he messaged me and asked was I going live tonight. So maybe we see him in a minute. You know how I feel about talking to the chat box anyway. But yeah, so right now it's all about just making sure that I have enough inventory to keep it going. And I was not anticipating so much ordering today from the visitor center, but hey, I made it work. We had it. I had what they wanted in stock, and no substitutions or anything like that. So that was good. It just forced me to spend a lot of today making flavoring honey and jarring it up. So we'll keep that going. All right, there we go. See it now. Good. So, what's up in everybody else's world? Yeah, it's good problems. It is very good problems to have. It's just a matter of being able to have something that if I get a lot of people that just randomly show up. I had somebody show up yesterday. Hey, I want 5 pints. So I've got to, try to have them ready. And I still do have a little bit of honey in bottles. Most of it is bigger sizes right now. So we'll just, when the honey comes in, we'll do it. Otherwise, I'll have to run down there and pick it up, which I don't mind doing. However, if I'm paying for shipping, then, they should ship it to me and I should get it. Is how I feel about it. Or don't charge me for shipping and I'll just come pick it up. And either way is fine. Just make it happen, right? That's it. Just do what you're going to do. Do what you're going to, what you say you're going to do. But I was in the grocery store just a little while ago tonight. And I took a photo. Let's see if I can pull said photo on my phone. And this one is Carmichael's honey out of Youngsville, Louisiana. And let's see if I can blow this part up, which is the most important part on the bottom. It says product of the USA, Argentina, and Uruguay. There you go. So they can have very convincing labels in the grocery store and it not be American honey. That's all I can say about that, right? Is that very convincing labels to not be what it seems. Let's see. Good evening. So, hey, thank you, Steve. I appreciate that, man. Steve comes through every week to keep things rolling on it, and I really do appreciate that. We do have several options to supporting the channel. One is memberships. They're not very expensive. Now, I'll be honest, you don't get a lot for the memberships. It does help the channel, though. And then super chats help. And, just buying Swarm Rustler, that helps me out as well. So help keep things going. But Steve comes through on all fronts all the time. He's a good guy. Appreciate him a lot. Let's see. Maybe I need to send the link directly to Brad. And maybe that will help him out. Come in. And let me see. Oh, that flipped off real quick. Hold on. Trying to send a couple links out here. Try to. I don't know what's going on. Computer's lagging slow. Going a little slow. There we go. We got that back now. And hey, Roy, good to see you. See Joe, Eric, Randy, and Mike. Okay, I think I got everybody. Now. So hopefully Brad or Big Mike or somebody decides they want to click the link and come in with us here. Otherwise, we could have a very short live stream tonight. For certain. Hey, Keith, good to see you. All right, cool. I think I've done a pretty good job with keeping my hives in check. I'm noticing a lot of people getting catching their own swarms and stuff. They're a little bit late to, I guess, splitting them or somehow limiting the brood, doing demarrays, things like that, in order to keep their colonies from swarming. But sometimes it doesn't matter what you do; they still seem to make that happen. Try to get around it sometimes. All right. Just growing brood. I hear you, DC. Yeah, I've got some. I've got to actually probably go out to my out yard tomorrow. The one in Lexington. Well, actually, both of them, and probably put boxes on them and get things going. Oh, nice, Joe. Hey, Ian, good to see you. Ian's been a busy guy. See his posts up lately, talking to officials. Let me hide that and take the banner down. I think y'all got the whole. All right, cool. Cool. So I got to make it at least 10 minutes without sinking here. Without sinking, then we'll have some VIPs in the audience. We'll have some VIPs on the chat. That'll be good. We'll come up with something interesting to talk about. Let's see. You're gonna build a fence. Joe, forgive me, I forget where you're located. Where are you located, Joe? Is it like a bear fence, or are you just putting a windbreak up, or doing some other kind of thing? Pennsylvania. Got it. So do you have black bear up where you're at? Probably do, right? DC's got some queens coming in. Electric fence for the bears. Got you. Yeah, I'm lucky. Knock on wood. I don't have too many of those critters. I've got the other critters like hive beetles and stuff like that. So 300 porch. Holy moly. We get possums and raccoons and stuff like that, but they don't too much mess with the bees. We got so I'll tell you what, I got my new mentee. And it went okay. It's always trying to figure out what their goals are and what they want to what they're trying to accomplish with their bees and everything. And yesterday was a bit interesting. I mean, they showed up. That's a good sign, because the other two I had before that with Hives for Heroes never showed up for anything. So she showed up. First thing she does is hop out of the car and bring her service dog out. And I said, yeah, I don't think you want your dog out. And she said, oh, he'll be all right around the bees. I said, it's not it's not the bees I'm worried about, it's the dog, right? Especially with my bees. If they get aggravated, then it could be an issue for the service dog. So they put the service dog up, and then we went through it. And probably one of the, I don't know, it's not really a pet peeve, but I think it's with anything. So if someone is being mentored, or you are a mentee of somebody, the worst statement I feel that can be made to me is, call me when you're going to go in the bees. Because then what you end up doing is they'll say, oh, well, I can't make it on that day. Well, how about this day? Oh, I got something on that day. It's just much easier if you say, hey, I can come out on Thursday. Is that good for you? Oh, yeah, Thursday will be fine. We'll find something to do. And, then it's a plan. But it doesn't really work the other way around, right? Let me see. Bees don't really like dogs. Yeah, and you know how my bees get. It's first thing I did, hey, you guys would have been proud, is light the smoker. So we lit the smoker and got that thing fired up, and it promptly went out after about one hive and a nuke, I think is what it lasted. And then it was like, okay, we're gonna go through this. My mentee stayed for probably about an hour, I guess. I'm just guessing because I didn't really time it. Probably about an hour. We set a time. They were late. Then they had something else they had to do, and it's like it gets a little bit frustrating because it's like, hey, I know this. I'm trying to take time out of my schedule to help you, and I might have other things to do. So if you want to learn this, then plan to have time, right? Come out and look at some bees and go home. You haven't really learned much. And the bees don't really wait on us too much, right? When it's time to do things, it's time to do it. So you will miss a lot, I think, in that aspect. Big Mike, how's it going?
Good evening, Bob. Hello, everyone.
How you doing today?
Doing good. Rainy, crappy day.
I see you're still off your rocker. The one behind you.
Once I get the bee stuff out of the living room, I can put it back where it belongs.
Yeah, that's the story of my life, man. It's like every room I go into, it's like, man, I clean it up, and then it come back in a week and it's like more stuff there, and I clean it up and more stuff. It's just constant. Yeah, I'm pretty much doing walkaways right now, Charlie. It's not necessarily my favorite. I'm thinking if you've got a really strong colony, I'm thinking maybe the best way, and I talked with Brad about this the other day, is kind of like Charlie says, doing a modified demarree, right? Is you can just pull that brood to the top box, let them self-split themselves and to take care of the brood. And then if you wait a couple days, 4 or 5 days, they're probably going to have queen cells built in there. And then you can just make splits off of that. And that way the queen's back in the bottom and she's doing her thing, none the wiser. And that seems to work out. Yeah, just do half the demarree. Right. Pull it up top, make the split, let the bees go and populate the brood, and then take the whole brood and move it into a nuke and keep it going. You guys still buried in snow, or is it gone now, Mike?
No, it was like 70 yesterday. Well, Sunday it was nice.
So it is going. I mean, it's going away though. You probably still got.
Yeah, well, we got a few snowbanks here and there. Most of the ponds are losing their ice, but we still got nights in the 20s.
Look who we got here.
They're brooding up, but you can't get in them.
He's still in his work clothes even. Look at him.
Hey, Bob. Hey, Mike. Yeah, I'm just walking through the honey house right now. Catching me at the end of the day, Bob.
Well, your days seem to be go with the daylight. I mean, it's like 7:20 at night. You should be eating a nice dinner and relaxing.
Yeah, I'll be here for 5 minutes and I'll go for supper.
And then you'll eat, and then we'll still be going. You'll pop back in at the end in the chat.
Yeah, I'll join on my phone.
Ragging it.
Yeah, just I've got my school help in to help this week. They're on spring break, so I have two guys, and then I have 2 of my own. So I have 4 in the honey house here.
Are we
prep
getting
work
ready
and
to
everything.
pull them out, or are they just shoveling dead bees?
I was hoping to start moving by the end of the week, but the weekend looks, I have enough snow. I'm not sure if I'm going to blow it away now or just let it melt away. So I might let the weekend melt it away and get them out at the beginning of next week. We'll just see how the forecast follows through. I'll know in a couple of days what I'm going to do. Not in any big hurry right now. The bees are they're quite indifferent. They're not a lot of drop on the floor. And I swept the other day and I walked through there and there's not a lot of drop and nobody's bearding and there's no
Have
poop
you checked
in front.
to see what they're doing on stores? Have you peeked in?
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about that. I'm not sure how to assess the shed that way, other than just hefting the top row, and they seem to have food up top. So that's as far. I'm not seeing in I think it was January or was it February before I left to England. I went through and I noticed a few kind of when they starve they drop and they kind of crawl out the front like this, and it just is very obvious which one to starve on you. And I've seen a few at that time, but I haven't seen any since.
So do you think that's them in search of, hey, let's see how far we can get out here to see if there's anything out here we can get? Or is that just,
I guess so, I don't know. But it's very obvious because you can see the bottom board just dropped. There's a whole bunch of dead bees. And then out the front, they're just kind of like this, and they're almost hanging on each other as they kind of fall out of the front entrance. It's really weird. Yeah. The big ones do that.
I did an inspection yesterday, and I've got on one of the colonies, I've got a whole deep of honey already.
Like fresh honey coming in?
Like fresh honey, fresh tapping.
Wow.
And,
damn you.
I should have took a photo
it was
of it.
snowing here yesterday. Yeah, I'll show you my I go on what is this called? It's a Windy, it's a weather app. I don't know if you can see this. It's not going to let you see it. No. But the app shows exactly, the 49th parallel. It's cold up top and warm down below. We're just on the edge of it. So close.
Well, it won't be long, and you guys will be. I was telling that to Brad. I'm like, oh, it won't be long, like a week or two, and you'll be right in it, right?
Yeah, we're 1st of April now. So, I mean, we're not late. I mean, this is typically I take them out of the shed first week of April.
Now
sometimes the second
and
week.
You'll feed them right up. I mean, right away, boom, buckets, right?
Yeah, I'm going to get them out and assess. We'll just go through and do a random assessment to see if we, in an emergency situation and have to put pails and everything. And if we don't have to do that, then we'll go through and just feed the light ones. G'day, Brad.
Evening.
Brad.
It's popcorn night.
That sun hitting your hair right there.
I know.
Like, what in the world happened? It was like white. I was like,
crazy.
You age quick.
No. Gray hair enough.
But now, for the amount of colonies you have, I know you get your feed in tankers.
Yeah.
Which is much different than like everybody else on the screen right now, right? So how many is that something that you typically get through the co-op, or do you have to source that outside of the co-op?
Yeah, I source everything through a co-op. It comes in this. They contract the sugar through Rogers, and it comes through the co-op exclusively. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
and actually, the price of sugar has come down $2,000 a load from last year. Surprise, surprise. So
that's because woodenware went up 2,000.
I'm taking extra.
The fuel surcharge maybe will make up for it. It comes from Tabor.
That's
so I want to get them out.
How much sugar do you
I want to get them out and fly, and I want them to get them to poop, and then I want to put the pails on it. I'm going to try my hardest not to put I have some fondant I'm going to feed if I have to feed emergency feed just to get it out there so I can keep the pails off for a bit, because I don't want the pails all covered in poop like that always happens. And then, we'll get a rain or snow and then they have little puddles of poop on top, and I don't think it's healthy for them. So I'm going to try my best to hold off the pails for at least 5 days and then get the pails on the week after. And in the meantime, go through with oxalic acid and vaporize them and such. So it's good to have my crew on board already and ready to go, because we have a lot of work we have to do, especially if we wait another week, then it just, pushes our workload a little bit further.
How much sugar do you figure you go through in the spring?
It would be probably half a tanker load. Yeah.
Which is, how many gallons is that? Or liters?
That would be about, let's say about 16,000, maybe 12,000 liters. Yeah.
Wow. Now I gotta calculate how many liters to gallons.
I have that here. Usually what I try to do is match my fall. I'll bring in by the tanker load. So then I usually feed 1.5 acres in the fall, then I'll have half of it left over for the spring. Usually it works out that way. And
you said 16,000 liters, right?
Yeah. Typically, well, depending on the spring flow. Like 2 years ago, we missed the spring flow, so I ended up feeding a whole tanker. But if we get a flow like last year, then I'm feeding a lot less than that.
So about 4,200 gallons.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
For half. If you had to feed them all, then woo.
Got to keep them going.
That's a lot of buckets.
That's a lot of buckets.
That's why I hire school kids.
Brad, that's a lot of bags of sugar.
That's a lot of bags of sugar.
That is insane.
That'd be 9 totes. That'd be 9 totes.
That's
a lot of that's 40, about 40 bags of sugar in a tote. So that's a lot of.
Then I might water it down a little bit too if we're building wax, but
that's
it's a lot of money.
Lots of. I'm glad you're rich like that.
Yeah.
Now, when you bring in a half tanker like that, how do you, are you able to go through all of it, or how do you keep it from spoiling? Because
well, I try to use it as soon as I can. In the fall, I'll order 2 tankers and I'll use up whatever I need. I always feed them right up. So hopefully I'll have half a tanker left over and it'll keep over winter. It'll grind, like right now it's hardened in the tank. It's granulated, but the sun will bring it back, and I feed it in the spring. And I try to have everything fed right out by summer, because I don't want to keep it over summer, because I keep my tanks outside and the sunlight will degrade the syrup and spoil it. So
okay.
I'll keep it over winter. It'll keep over winter, but not over summer. That's kind of the rule of thumb.
I was running it backwards. I was thinking you got it in the spring, and I was like, man, how does he deal with the summer heat and it not spoiling?
The years
running in the opposite direction, so that makes sense.
The years it doesn't match up, where I don't have a lot left over in the spring, then I'll just run to Winnipeg and get just 3,000 or 4,000 liters at a time. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Run down to local what is it?
Diabetes clinic?
What? Costco, right? Costco. Oh,
yeah.
Supper comes here. Costco.
Yeah, right. That's hilarious.
Once I get this new addition, I might be able to have enough space to move, and I might actually mix some syrup in the spring. We'll see how that goes. We'll see. Takes time.
You'll only do that once.
They just do it once.
You'll have to put a whole grain silo in just for sugar.
I have an extra stainless steel tank. I'm just thinking about circulating it and then pumping it off the top.
It's not that bad if get the tanks and the pumps and the circulation, and you got a forklift to lift the sugar and whatnot. It's not that bad.
Yeah, and a bunch of teenage kids, they can do the work for me.
Exactly.
Cost recapture.
Save yourself a pile of money.
That's what I'm doing right now.
Until they leave the tap open and it runs all over the floor and floods everything out with sugar water.
Well, there's that.
Well, I hope not. They are
I mean,
teenagers.
I know a guy
guess.
that might or might not be in this chat that has done that with a toad of syrup before.
Oh yeah. I'll tell you, that's disappointing. Go out and there's like $600 or $800 worth of syrup all over the ground.
I would have stroked out. I'd be like, bitches, y'all are starving this spring. That's what's going to happen here.
I could hardly stand up. My knees were so weak. It was. I can't believe that happened.
Well, I mean, in your defense, you did leave the valve open. The pipe cracked, right? So,
Yeah, the pipe broke.
So
yeah, but I left it unattended, right? So it just all pumped out on the ground.
That's hard situations.
Cleanup must have been a disaster.
It was in
just open the doors and open feed.
There's no cleanup.
Where it broke, was it a place where you could have stopped it if you'd been there?
Oh yeah, it was because the pump was running, so the pump emptied the tank.
Oh, I didn't know if it was a pipe between the two of them.
It was mixing, right? It was agitating.
Yeah.
And then a pipe broke and it just pumped it all on the ground.
Oh.
You know what's kind of crazy? You say open feed. I've noticed that if you spill syrup on the ground,
they won't touch it.
The bees don't clean it up.
Nope.
I broke a pint jar of honey in the back of my truck the other day, and it took a minute. When I saw it dripping out of the tailgate onto the ground, that's when I knew it was broke. There wasn't a bee anywhere around to be found around it. So, yeah, it's kind of.
Yeah, my wife did that with ice cream pails full of honey. She stacked them in the back of the truck for some reason. I don't know why. And just, one of those things. And she went back and there's 2 ice cream pails just, poured onto the bottom of the truck. Oh. Just made it. She cleaned. Yeah, she cleaned it up. What a mess.
But it's still sticky. You can clean honey and clean honey and clean honey. Still. The that happens quite often when I'm jarring up like flavored honey. It'll drip, and I'll wipe it with the sponge and clean the sponge and wipe it with the sponge, and you'll come back later after the counter's dry, and it still looks like it's glazed over with something.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's what I'm doing right now with oxalic acid glycerin, making a mess. What a miserable job this is.
I'm interested to see if that oxalic acid etches that tank at all.
Yeah, I have nothing to lose. So
it sure etches the vaporizer, but I mean it's higher concentration, right? So I'm just interested to see how that works.
Mixed with glycerin, I'm taking it up to 150 is what I'm taking it to for temperature. That seems to be warm enough to dissolve everything.
Because if it doesn't etch the tank, you could. I could use my melter.
I was going to do that too, and I'm thinking the same lines as you. I don't want to wreck the stainless steel inside because it'd be so easy to set it 150, dump it in there, walk away. I mean, come back in the morning, right, and then just give it a good mix.
I don't think it would hurt it at all. Just it would discolor it. It would just etch it, take the shine off it.
Yeah.
What about it getting hung up in like the ball valves and stuff like that when you go to drain it out?
At 150, it's liquid. It runs
being worse than wax.
Yeah.
But we're doing these sponges. We're cutting them into 4s and pouring it over there. These are each is getting 100 grams, so 50 gram treatment on these, and then these ones, this is the paper strip. These are getting 20? They absorb 22 grams, so this will be 11 gram treatment. So I think our target's about 40. So.
Better watch out, David's in here. I saw you guys on with David the other day, right? Last week.
Oh, yeah.
David's in the chat. You're always welcome to come in, David. But I've been fortunate for whatever reason. Just using the tablets have helped me out. Here comes Doug. Just fresh in out of Triceratops honey.
That's a real testament, Bob, that you've only used the tablets for so long.
Yeah, over 2 years now, 2.5 years.
So Ian, when you're doing your and it's funny because are you laying your those sponges across the top bars, or are you
This will be
hanging
the
your?
this will be the first time I use them. The sponges I plan on laying across the top bars, but the strips I'll be hanging them between the frames. I'm going to see which works best. I'd rather just keep it on the top bar, you know, as we're building up for the summer, because it'd be a lot easier to manage for applying, and it won't, you know, interfere with the brood nest. But I'm not sure.
Right. I started last year I used Viroxian for the first time because I wanted to kind of experiment with that. Basically the same thing. It's just the commercialized version of it. And down at the Kentucky show, I had found that hanging them down, it was effective, but it kind of interrupts a little bit there. They kind of want to get that bee space bass, so they draw back some of the wax. And on some of my hives, I had tried
kind of like they do with the Apivar strips.
Yeah.
And when I talked to the manufacturer down at Nobby, he was like, "Yeah, it's not recommended for that. It's not tested for that." But I kind of see that they're still tracking over it. They're still dragging the OA around. So I was curious if it's just that canned answer of, well, that's not what it's approved for. So we always say it's got to hang down. But I'm curious
what you got to say.
Yeah, exactly. There's always that, like, well, this is what we have to say, but is it equally?
Am I wrong to say, just correct my memory if it's wrong, but from Bob's video, I'll have to review it again. When he placed 4 sponges up, like we cut these sponges, we're cutting them in 4, and when he placed 4 on top. Yeah, that was the best for his trials.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. And then he had the Canadian strip hanging down in between, which I think holds 16 grams of oxalic. I think they came in the next as best, right? Am I right about that?
Yeah, and his homemade ones probably had the most oxalic acid of all of them, I think, too.
A little bit higher, yeah. So
what was he targeting for his treatment? Was it 50 grams, or do you remember? I'll have to watch that video again.
I don't remember. So
yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what it was either. I remember watching the video because he had them all broke down into different categories and his queens against other queens and all kinds of stuff in the same.
What'd you do last year, Doug? You used them last year, eh?
No.
Oh, I thought you did. Okay.
We just used OA.
Doug, you got your bees dug out, right?
Had.
Doug got carpeted.
We only ended up with about an inch, 2 inches with us, but it sounds like you got a lot more out your way, Doug.
Close to 12.
12.
Let's see. Trying to see the chat here.
Which is what, 5 inches? Thereabouts.
12 centimeter. I don't know.
5 inches of snow is nothing to sneeze at, boy.
Haven't seen it in decades.
It's plowable for me and a paycheck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just under 5 inches.
I follow that mentality, Mike. I curse at the wind every day because it's always windy here, but I have a wind development coming, hopefully putting up some windmills. So as soon as I get a paycheck from that wind blowing, I'll stop complaining about the wind for the most part.
Let them tap your electric into it.
Are they the real big windmills?
Yeah, the great big ones. They pay a nice little royalty. They're an eyesore. I don't know if I believe them or not, but they're like an oil well in your land.
Yeah.
Do they pay based on production or just based on footprint? If you've got X number of them, it's a cut check, or is it?
It's based on footprint. It's based on an acreage, like the whole farm. They'll pay on a per acre basis just to buy the rights, so you can't let anybody else put a windmill up, so they control the area. They pay on access to the windmill, They pay you a base fee for the structure, and then they pay you royalty for the production on top of that. So it all works out into a math equation.
And if they ever have to take them down, they'll take it all the way back down to raw land.
Yeah, there's a termination clause where they have to clean up. Yeah. I'm not sure about, I mean, they're not going to take that great big concrete pillar out. They'll likely take it down enough so you could farm over top of it, I imagine. So
now Ian just added another farming to his farm there. Now he's a wind farmer.
Wind farmer.
He's
Not
a
yet.
bee farmer.
I've signed the contract. It's
Cattle
coming.
farmer, wheat farmer. Hey,
You got a different app for every day.
that's it.
Yeah.
Just think he's going to be going to that windy app and say, "Yep, we're making money today."
Bob, I can't wait. I curse at the wind every day. And if I can make money on that, I'll be a happy man. So will Sandy.
You should have put it in the clause where they had to power your farm with directly from the wind off of there.
Well, we
Yeah,
do use quite a bit of it. Yeah.
What happens when the wind doesn't blow? Then your farm just goes black.
Well, if it's one of those two-way meters, then it kicks back on the hydro.
Yeah, this wind farm, it's, well, I might get one close to the yard. I don't know. But it's like our sprawl of the farm is going to be within the sprawl. Yeah.
How many are they going to put in?
They're talking about 35 for this next phase of development. We might get 3 or 4. We'll see. It's not, I mean, it all has to be determined by the engineers and where they want to lay it out. But we're hoping for 3 or 4.
Did they give you a time frame on how long it takes to assemble one once they've said,
It doesn't
okay,
take
we're
them
gonna-
long. Yeah, once they get going, it doesn't take them long. I wouldn't be able to tell you that, but they'll work year round to get them up.
That's I've seen them out west here, and seems like everything I've heard here is that it costs more to produce it and to run it than it actually generates. Like it never generates enough to pay itself back before they have to replace it.
I'm not going to say I believe in them. I'm just going to say I'll take their check for them, though.
Hey, I get it. I'm with it.
They don't make any money. Stepler's taking all the money. The only one making money is the whole deal.
Yeah,
Don't get out of bees and just farm wind. It's much easier.
they're an eyesore. I mean, they're going to wreck their horizon. We won't have that nice horizon. We'll have these damn windmills. They make a little bit of noise, but they keep them away from the yard. About, I think it's 700 yards. But I have one beside one of my bee yards, and it's about that setback from the bee yard, and I can't hear it. But on a calm day, like very calm day, you'll hear a woof, 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 just like that. And if the sun's right, you'll see a shadow go like this. So if I had that against my house, maybe I'll turn the wife and I batty. I don't know. As long as that paycheck comes in, I'll put the blinds down.
That's true. Tell you what,
Once the snow goes away, does the Baileys and coffees go away too?
Say that again, sorry, Mike.
I say once the snow goes away, does the Baileys and coffee go away too?
I've been getting a treat this last week.
I saw it in your video. You seem to be disgusted at the wind, but very happy with the wife.
Yeah, she has a few tricks up her sleeve. We've been married for 25, 26 years. Yeah.
That's funny. So so I mean, this month, the month of March, has been my best sales month ever. And hopefully it gets better. Hopefully there's more good months ahead. But it's one of those things, and Brad's no stranger because we've talked about it a lot, where I just feel like a dog chasing my tail, right? You only have so much money, get the honey. Then you sell the honey, then you only got so much money where you can get more honey to sell more honey. So it's just a constant, running around in a circle. Today, out of nowhere, the visitor center that I'm in town here just said, "Hey, I want to get a few new items." Okay, 16 jars of creamed honey, right? And they're all flavored. Luckily, I did have them, but what that did is that was just my table stock, right? So now I have to go back, and now I'm flavoring honey to get back, and now I'm running low on creamed honey. So now I've got to get honey to add to my seed to keep it going. It's I need to just come in. We need to put a pipeline into the States just to pump honey in. Well, I don't know that we could do canola because it would probably plug the whole line up, but
I could ship you a barrel pretty easy.
I was going to say, it sounds like you're almost at barrel time instead of bucket time.
I just don't have the capacity to warm barrels, and I don't have a pump to pump it out of the barrel. So it's just one issue after another, growing pains. They're good pains, but
I was going to say,
You must be getting quite a bucket collection, Bob.
yeah, it's freaking insane. I've got feeder buckets for days outside, and I've got enough buckets now that my whole crop for this year will get brand new buckets and lids from honey that I've brought in.
Perfect.
So
marketplace, man, $5 a bucket. Bucket used once, people buy that.
It's
I might even pay more around here.
I'll tell you, it's definitely a different game for sure. So
it's popcorn, Norman. It's popcorn. He thinks I'm eating dead bees.
I think the biggest issue for me with my current setup, it's not so much an issue now, but originally, right? Originally, the issue was, but it's not my honey, right? And then I kind of used the one YouTuber said something one time. He says, "Well, once I buy it, it's my honey." So I guess it's you got to do what you got to do. But if I don't get any more sales today, which could always happen with Amazon, over $6,500 this month in sales. So that's
pretty good.
James comes in. He's been sitting there, and I can only have 6 people in, James. James is sitting, so you have to wait until someone drops out.
There's a 6 limit on StreamYard?
On a non-paid, this is a free one.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Nowadays, every single thing you do, they want to upcharge you for. So I'm on, and I don't get enough super chats and memberships and stuff like that to, what is it now? $30, $40 a month.
Yeah, quite a bit.
Oh, wow.
So it's not a cheap thing. All right. David asks, Ian, do you know anyone with some drums of good buckwheat honey?
I did, but I sold it all out west. Yeah. I can let, if David wants buckwheat honey, I'll keep him in mind next time. There's buckwheat growing in the area. It doesn't happen very often anymore. It's kind of one of those crops that's just kind of gone by the wayside.
Uncle Junior said today, I thought it was funny. The local county board of health inspector came to his house to buy honey.
Makes you wonder, does he want honey or is this a pop inspection?
I was standing here last summer. Was last summer or summer before? Standing here by the honey house, and the sheriff drove in. 2 sheriffs step out of the car. Kind of, hey, how you doing? You sell honey? Yeah, I do. They're really nice. They bought some honey.
Yeah, I've never had anybody say anything other than, hey, you got any honey? I've had sheriff's deputies, guys from the light company and stuff show up. I'm like, oh, did I forget my bill? Oh, no, we just want some honey. Okay, great. That'll work.
You won't get in trouble though, Bob, will you? You're just you have a stand. You're just your roadside selling, do you have to have a permit for that?
I don't. It falls under our cottage food law, and in South Carolina, I can sell up to 4,800 pounds. Yep, 4,800 pounds of honey. Which is odd that they even put a number on it, because not once has anyone showed up to say, how many hives do you have? How much honey do they make per hive? How much honey did you make last year? You know, there's no tracking it.
No.
Other than what I spend for honey, right? So
it sounds like one of those laws that is in place that's not really, enforced day by day, but it's there so that they can control things if they need to. Right? If something gets out of hand,
somebody
they can
gets
say,
sick or something, then they can
whatever. Yeah.
lower the boom.
Yeah.
But yeah, nobody.
How much honey
ever
can
says
your
it.
wife sell?
Well, that's it. I mean, so technically, anybody that has a colony can sell 4,800 pounds of honey under the cottage food law. There's at least here. So now, which is odd for me, because my best production year was last year, or not this past harvest, but the harvest before, and it was only 1,250 pounds. I've already sold more purchased honey, more than 1,250 pounds. So I just load the table up and they come. It's really kind of weird. And now that I've been doing flavored creamed honeys for so long that people are aware of it and they've tasted it and tasted different ones. Hey, what do you got new this time? Well, try this pineapple, right? Oh yeah, give me some of those, So there's a bit of trust that's been built now with the flavor. They kind of know, oh, if it's pineapple, it's going to taste like pineapple, that type of thing. And it just is going kind of crazy. It's hard to keep up. I spend, even this month, which was a really good month for me, I wasn't out at the table every single day. So it only on the weekends, but I still had people come. I'm in Hopkins. I'm in the right outside of Columbia. And so I don't know. Who knows what the limit is? My buddy was telling me today, well, you need to start looking into getting those licenses and kitchens and, all that stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I could still sell another 2,000 pounds of honey before I have to worry about that. If I'm constantly selling 5,000 pounds of honey, then I'll start looking at other options. Maybe even, have them pack it with my label on it. And then I can sell unlimited honey because it's coming from a certified packer.
You're going to try to up your hives this year so you can hopefully produce more of your own and increase your profit margin? Or are you?
Yeah,
it's hard.
I am
then you
trying to do that
on the side of the road.
I am trying to do that, but there's something to be said about purchased honey. It's got zero work. You know what I mean? I'm never going to be the Bob Binney. I'm not going to be the Ian Stepler. I don't have the facilities to do that type of thing, right? So, or Doug, Doug's got a ton of hives. I just can't produce that much honey. So I've got to find something. And, Bob Binney, he's got a lot of hives, but he sells a lot more honey than he can produce as well. So, it's definitely a market out there for it. I just got to find out where I fit in the market, financially. Right now it's at the bottom. Right now it is definitely at the bottom of that market.
Bob, how many of those tablets do you put in throughout the year? The Appy tablet?
Well, in the spring I'll put them on, one per single deep. And then, after the honey harvest, I'll put them back in, and then I just keep them. So for me, it wouldn't be cost effective for you to do it the way I do it, because I keep them in there constantly, right? Because my temperature swings so much. For you're running single deeps, one tablet per, you would be good in the spring to do a little knockback, and then you tried them in your members only video over the winter, and I don't know, seemed like you had a little bit of a drop in there.
Yeah, it knocked him down almost like a flash. Not sure exactly what I seen, but I did see a drop, and I seen him. I seen the control when I first put him in, but I've never really looked at him on a longer term basis. Not like what you're seeing right now.
Yeah, it's the only. Now, here's the thing that I noticed for me, and I'm not trying to offend anybody and nothing like that. So I'm just telling you what I've seen is compared to everybody else that I've seen on YouTube.
I love when you start out your statement, Bob, with "I don't want to offend anybody."
I don't.
But here's what I'm going to say.
I've got somebody. We've got people in the chat that they sell treatments, right? And you guys all do different treatments, and I have the vaporizer, and I did that, and I've done Apivar. My colony losses were no worse than anybody else's that was using whatever they were using. So there was no difference in my mind at that point to continue to pay tons and tons of money for treatment if my results are the same as somebody that's spending tons and tons of money on treatments. It just didn't make sense to me at my scale, right? Now, for me to replace, if I had to replace all my bees, yeah, it would cost me some money to get back in it, but nowhere near what it would cost you to replace all of your bees, right? So it's a different level of concern there, I'm sure.
How about the hive beetle? I don't hear you talking about hive beetle anymore. You used to talk about hive beetle all the time.
I've noticed that they're not as bad using the tablets. I still get them. I still have some in there. But it seems like because it keeps them knocked back, the colony doesn't have such a hard time managing it, right? It's kind of like what's acceptable. If I go in a weak hive and there's lots of beetles, probably a dead colony if I don't do something about them. If I go in a strong hive and there's a few beetles, I'm not worried about it. So one thing that I found with the tablet is it does tend to look like there's less beetles in the colony, and because there's less mites and less stress on the colony, it seems like they're stronger and they can manage with them a little bit better. But if I see them, I still play whack-a-mole with them and kill them. But they're nowhere near what they were the first years I was beekeeping. And I've only ever, a lot of people say, well, put down GrubX all around everything. And I did that one time in 7 years. And the problem is, and this is what I try to explain to people, yeah, that'll help break the cycle of the beetle, but the damage in the colony is done prior. Like the beetle comes into the colony and then it slimes out and leaves the maggots and everything in the hive, which runs the bees out. And then the colony's dead. So, yep, they'll come out and hit the ground. And if they've got GrubX or something down there, yeah, that'll kill those from reproducing. So that does help. But the hive's still gone, right? The hive's still dead. So what I've done over the past few years is I've started going to away from solid bottom boards to oil trap bottom boards for me. And, the smaller beetles just fall right through into the oil and they're dead. So that tends to help them out.
I guess the GrubX would help prevent the spread, maybe, when they, if there's an infestation and they grow, it'd kill them before they, multiply and spread throughout the entire yard. Maybe it'd do that.
Yeah, it does. It will cut it down. Yeah, it is a thymol-based tablet. Well, it's not thymol-based. It has thymol in it. It's actually sugar-based, I guess, would be because that's the main thing. But yeah, it will knock it down and try to prevent those. But those beetles will fly a long way too. So I try to I'm getting a little bit better. When I first had so many beetles, I was just knocking frames on other colonies and smash as many as you can. Well, the problem is they'll just go, if you don't get them, they're going to go into that colony, and so it's always an issue. So
I'm surprised I haven't ever seen a small hive beetle. I'm 20 miles off the border, and there's a lot of bees come up into North Dakota. Like they say, 1 million beehives up in North Dakota. And that, I mean, there isn't 1 million bees along the border, but I mean, there's bees right up to the border, lined across the border. You'd think, and I think they fly 20 miles. Is that right, Bob?
I'm not sure the exact distance, but I know they'll fly quite a distance.
Yeah.
The thing is that, and you'll notice it here. I think, let's see, Rick, you're up next to Big Mike. You guys don't have very many hive beetles where you're at either, do
Very
you?
few.
We typically
Except
see
for when the
people that
packages
get
come up
packages.
from down south.
That's
Yep.
it. They come from down here, they freeze up there, and they're done. So
They'd be coming up into North Dakota with the migratory beekeepers, though, so they'd be hitchhiking. Maybe, and you'd think I'd see strays. I've never, and maybe I'm
How
just
far
not
are you
looking
from the
for it.
border?
22 miles, straight up from Grand Forks.
that's the yeah.
So I think they
I know
fly
a lot
20
of.
miles. I think someone told me they fly 20 miles. I'm not sure, but
I think it's
never seen one.
it could just be the time of year or the time that your season actually is, because it's cold right up to your season, and then right after the season it's cold right away again. I think that has a lot to do with it. Here, I mean, it's nothing for the colony to have hive beetles in it in December or January, right? They just stay in there. All right, let's see. David said small hive beetle showed up in his outfit 2 years ago in 1 yard. Now, David, did they make it over winter?
Has it been getting warmer in your area? Because I know we have a few beekeepers that we know down in Rhode Island, and they've slowly, like, as you can see, they keep changing our agricultural zone for growing and stuff because our temperatures have slowly increased, and they've slowly started to see them a little bit more in Rhode Island. They become a little bit more of a problem than they were 10, 15 years ago.
I wonder if it's a humidity issue.
I'm curious if it's just traveling up with those warmer temps makes it more survivable, and we're still dealing with some pretty cold temps, so probably curious over time.
I wouldn't mind a little bit warmer weather.
Yeah, I would not complain. But
7 to 10 miles, 11 to 16 kilometers is what Uncle Junior's saying.
I'm out of range then. Ask David, or maybe I'll just ask David. The small hive beetle that he found in his operation, what does he think that's going to be in regards to the economic loss? Is he like, oh no, I'm out of business, or is it just found them, they're not really doing anything, and get on with life? Because he's more southern. The lower part of Ontario is much lower, almost in the same.
Well, it's below Michigan, right?
Yeah. I'm not exactly sure where David is there, but he's much further south than I am. So he would have more threat to the small hive beetle than I would think.
I think I saw 3 last year.
You seen 3?
Saw 3?
We're fed a line up here in Canada. Maybe I won't get down this political line, but we're like, you see one beetle come into the country and the whole country goes into panic mode. Like, oh no, there's a beetle up here. But what does that actually mean?
Yeah.
Right. What does it mean? I mean, it's here, fine. It's not going to survive, right?
I think,
I know it's not going to survive. And plus, your bees have been so prolific. I mean, every time I see you crack a lid, and I'm sure they're not all like that, but the majority of your colonies have great populations in them, and your bee to beetle ratio is really high, right? I mean, as far as the number of bees to the number of beetles.
I am a commercial beekeeper, and I operate like one. So at the end of the season, I'll be shaking out colonies that failed. So certainly some of those colonies would be taken over by the small hive beetle if there was small hive beetle there to take over. That's what I hear from southern beekeepers.
Yeah,
because I maybe I get a little lazy. Wax moth really doesn't show up like it would down south, and small hive beetle isn't here. So as we go through the season, we basically pick up the pieces sometimes. So there's some boxes that are like, oh shit, missed that one. So
Yeah, but it's not. I've got a. Let me see. A video on my channel here, and so old. I'm scrolling back.
I think the farther south you go, the worse it is.
Yeah,
You know, last year Mr. Ed was vacuuming them up with his bee vac. He had so many.
Yeah, I think it's a humidity thing.
Yeah, I certainly don't want that. I mean, if bringing in a package bees from California and I get one beetle, it comes, or let's say 3 beetles in that package, and it infests that colony, I don't want it to cause a huge problem in my operation. But if those 3 beetles, if they're not going to do anything, then why are we so?
Yeah,
why are we fussing about it? You know,
it's because now they know that you don't have them, and they don't have to worry about it at all. But if you had to worry about it, any, I guess would be an issue. But I've got a, to give you an idea, let's see, just gonna get a screen shot here.
And my hot room, I mean, I keep honey in there from middle of July right through to September, and it's warm in that hot room. And I park boxes in there, and sometimes the boxes sit there for a week. And by the time the crew gets to them,
I can't leave. Like when I pull my honey, I have to extract it now.
Yeah,
it can't sit there. It's not sitting there a day, or it's not.
Yeah,
it would certainly
unless you can
change
get the
my
humidity
management.
down.
that would affect me really bad because mine can sit in the hot room for a month.
And it does get humid up here through the summer, like very humid, some summers. So if it does, bringing up the small hive beetle, just to allow just a minor population then to infest the facility, and then I'd have to change my management practice. I could see the argument against that. But is it going to grow to the point, like, is it going to overwinter? Is it going to, populate an area? Like, as David answered, I don't have any, like,
nobody knows, because you can't put that genie back in the bottle, right?
That's true.
And nobody can answer that question.
David has that genie though in his operation. So like, is that small hive beetle that's showing up in 1 or 3 colonies, I think he said there, is that causing him an economic?
So you see the Swiffer sheet on the screen?
Yep.
That was all hive beetles caught out of a single D.
Oh, okay.
And I'm sure I didn't catch them all.
They get tangled in there, eh?
Yeah, they'll get tangled in there, but then the bees propolize it, and they'll just root through and then rip the brood out, and you'll see something like that in the bottom of your hive, and then you'll get a mess like this. And
what's that?
That's comb, and I think that's just still shot here. Let's see. And there's my ugly mug. But they actually, there we go. That's beetle larva. You see all the beetle larva in there?
Is that a pail? Oh, that's a pail. I see.
Pail that I was scraping in, because they can't get out of here. So in the heat, they'll actually just dehydrate and die if I leave them in there like that, or throw them to the chickens at that point. But
so how do they get in there?
Oh, well, the beetles were all in the hive, and that's comb of a hive that was destroyed, and that was at the back of my yard, where when I first started, I had all my bees along the back of the property. I moved them to the side of the house because everybody said, "Oh, if you put them in direct sun, that'll help." It does help a little bit, but it doesn't. It's not stopped. I mean, that's even before I finished the honey house and wrapped it. So it doesn't really do that much difference. Once they get in the hive, it's all temperature controlled, right? So the direct sun, I don't know, it here when it's 115 outside, maybe it's not as good for the bees, because the bees are trying to keep that
Yeah, I don't want that in my beehives. That's gross.
Yep.
Or my
I
honey
think
house.
the hive beetle larvae will not hatch if the humidity is too low. That's why a lot of these places run the dehumidifiers in their hot rooms.
So that was
Hmm.
5 years ago, which is 6 years ago actually, when this happened. I had 9 colonies and I lost 5 of them to hive beetles
Yuck.
that year.
Oof.
Mike, do they know the magic number of humidity that they
I think it's
find?
under. Is it under 50% or 40%? No, 50%. I think.
I don't
Not
know.
sure.
We
I
get
know
high
Mike.
humidity.
I know Mike Berry's said it and stuff.
But it's
It'd
I
be
don't
hard to get
think
a hot room under 50 degrees with constant honey being
No,
brought
it's
in all the time.
50% humidity.
I
It's the
don't think
humidity.
I really don't think you'll have an issue in Canada with them. Even in
Yeah,
the
I don't
United
see that
States, the
happening.
further north you get in the United States, the less beetles you see naturally. Even when they get bees that come in migratory, they're not losing colonies like that. And when it gets cold, they get really slow. They're real
Yeah.
easy to kill when it's cold, but
Mike,
it's
do you have to do anything special in your hot room then when you're extracting honey because of the beetle?
I only had 3. I only saw 3, and I have a dehumidifier. I don't have a very big room, so I
so
just have one.
here's
sitting
the other
behind.
thing is that if your honey's capped, they can't get into it. They'll just walk across the cappings. So you don't have to worry about anything with that. It's the around the edges where they don't totally cap all the way to the outer edge. If they get in that, they'll lay those larvae, and then the larva will go underneath the cappings and slime it out.
With the skateboards I use, like they're sitting outside in the yards without bees in the boxes for about 2 days anyways, without bees in there. So the boxes are certainly exposed to a situation like that. We try not to bring cappings into the honey house. We do all the time, but we try to pull it in with minimal cappings as long as the honey's dry. So we have the favorable environment or the conditions or the setup or whatever you want to say for a severe problem of small hive beetle. Just it doesn't seem to want to come up this far. Like Mike, you're in the United States. You're within, like, how close are you to migratory beekeepers?
I'm about 200 miles south of the 45th parallel.
Do you have guys coming up close with semi-loads of bees from California?
No, there's nothing up here. But all the packages that come up, that's what gives us our hive beetles. Most of them don't make the winter.
Oh yeah. So even with the exposure of those packages that have the hive beetle come up from the south, guys are putting them everywhere. You don't.
They wouldn't survive your winters.
No.
At all, I don't believe.
And I
even
think
within the growth within the season of those guys bringing the packages up and those beetles propagating and growing and flying and reinfesting, you don't have a second thought towards them that way.
I don't buy packages, but I'm a mentor, so I see my mentees, and that's usually the only place I see hive beetles. I'll see 1 or 2 in my 150 hives during the course of the summer.
I really don't.
And checking our mentees' hives last year, like a handful of them had them, but we'd see them as 1, 2s, 3s, and those never really took off like they do down south. Like those 3 stuck around, and like they could crush them, and it's not all of a sudden like you open them up the following week and we're like, oh man, we got 10 now, or we got 20 now.
Yeah, you
like,
crush
never
the 3,
seemed to
sometimes
really
you didn't ever see them again the rest of the year.
So, and then the following season, if that hive overwintered, they're not there anymore. Like they kind of died out. But
yeah, I really think it's. If you look at Mike Berry, I haven't really seen. It's probably just that I haven't seen it. I'm sure he's done a video on it. Bob having much issue with them. Again, strong colonies, you won't have to worry about it.
And as I was talking to, I think it was Jamie Ellis a while back about, as this on over email, about my winter shed and what would happen in the winter shed in a situation where the small hive beetle would be in the winter shed, and then are they going to slime out the whole shed before the spring? And he figured from the work, as long as I understand him correctly, I should put that as a caveat, that the small hive beetle just sits in the comb and just, asks to be fed throughout the winter instead of any type of growth or any development like that. So I don't see the threat as being a threat.
I think it would probably be too cold for them. Also, even in your winter shed, have lay eggs and have them hatch.
Right.
I think they,
probably the hardest time you would have if they could overwinter in the building is when you brought them out in the spring, when everything's starting to ramp up. Well, they're going to start ramping up too, but
yeah, but then it's so damn cold again. Yeah, so we keep coming around to the circular. It's too cold. It's too cold. It's too cold. Yeah.
Yeah. And even if you had some that did get into the ground for, at the end of the season, the ground's going to freeze and kill them. I mean, it's just, you don't even hardly see them in like Ohio unless they have a strong, a really hot summer. You don't really have issues. It's, if you look even on YouTubers, and this is what I'm basing it off of, YouTubers that I've seen that have hive beetle problems are all in South Carolina, Georgia, Florida. I don't even hear about it in Florida too much, but South Carolina, Georgia, Louisiana, Alabama, that's all southern states that I hear about it in. I think if the numbers are, I don't think they're as bad as Varroa. I mean, they can be if you let them get out of control, but it's kind of like Varroa in the aspect of, if they're out of control, well, why did they get out of control? Is the colony too weak to deal with them? Why is the colony too weak, right? And then it kind of goes back to that questioning line. Yeah, do I have some pissed off bees? Absolutely, because they're dealing with hive beetles. They're dealing with Varroa. They've got all kinds of stuff and then they got this big ass white guy that wants to come in and open them up and dig through their comb. So yeah,
steal their honey,
and they're going to get some stolen here soon, probably.
So Ian, I'm not sure if you're still looking at the chat, but Eric's Apiary commented on your humidity question. He goes, few eggs hatch under 50% and none will hatch under 34%. So that kind of gives you some.
So that 50% is that line, and under 50% number really reduces. Oh yeah, that's interesting.
Let's see, and currently I'm at 75% humidity.
I wonder what effect elevated CO2 levels have on them in that condition. That might kind of curtail them as well. But that's speculation.
I've got 75% humidity right now. So that kind of gives you an idea where my humidity stays around 75, 80% throughout the season. But I have not had, knock on wood, the last few years, I really haven't had a huge issue with them. Do I see them? Yeah, I'll see them. If I see them, do I try to get rid of them? I do. I bang them out, smash as many as I can. And over a period of time, the more I'm smashing them, the more they die, or the more they, I'm cutting them back. But again, if they can fly, what am I doing? Right? Just slowing them down a bit. So, yeah, Grammy says the same thing. We have very high humidity and the perfect soil for small hive beetles. I've got very
soil's got a lot to do with it too.
I've got very sandy soil here, and
so they can dig in easily.
So let this be a lesson to you when someone says to one of us Canadians, "I don't know why you people live there." Okay? bad conditions for small hive beetle. That's a reason right there.
Well, the other thing is we only get 50 pounds a colony, and you guys are getting 200-300 pounds a colony. That's another reason.
Yeah, we just have to work way harder because it's worth way less.
Yeah. Doesn't that suck? There should be a benefit, right? There should be a benefit. If you live in a place that's good for something like that, then you should get the benefit.
That's commodities, man. If
There
can
you
you
go.
imagine if Ian sold all of his honey for the same price Bob is selling his honey for?
And I'm not even high priced here for my honey.
I'd buy it, and then
Which
I'd
is
add
what,
$5 to it and
$10
sell
a
it here.
pound or something?
$10.
What do you do a pound, Bob?
10
Oh yeah.
a pound.
I think Ian would be a beekeeper one more year if he was getting that.
One more year.
I think so.
But even wholesale, even when I'm buying it by the bucket, I'm paying, I think, $3.65 a pound.
It is amazing how much it varies depending on where you are.
$3.75. So even on the stuff I'm buying, I'm making $6 a pound, roughly.
And you don't have to do anything to get it.
I don't have to do anything. And as long as I have the cash to keep my orders to where they'll actually send them to me in a timely manner, then I'm good to go.
Sounds like you may be taking another truck ride again.
I might be coming up to Big Mike's and be like, load me up.
Go visit Brad.
Yeah,
That's
Go
a
make a
long
deal.
haul.
that's a long. All that Ford would burn a lot of fuel.
I have to get me like some of those fuel cells and load up the whole back of my truck with fuel cells and then pump it full of honey.
Oh, that'd be good tasting stuff.
Brand new fuel cells, not previously used. But and then it'd probably cost me $20 a pound with the fuel that I'd have to burn to go get it. It's let's see, there you go. DC sells 1.5 pounds for 18. I sell 1.5 pounds for 15. So it's but and that's where the flavored honeys are important to my setup, the way I run it, because I sell a lot of flavored honeys and I get $20 a pound for flavored honey. So I sell a 1/2 pound jar for $10. So good profit in there. Good profit. But I could use about probably 20 gallons of canola that I could put in my creamer and mix it like a 50-50 blend, and it would be just perfect creamed honey for me.
You'd have to empty your creamer.
Yeah, it would get rock solid.
Yeah, don't leave it in there.
I'm curious now. It's getting lower, and I was wondering, because that creamer has been going for over a year. Ever since the first day I plugged it in, it's been turning 15 minutes every hour. And so I'm wondering how much is caked up on the bottom, like underneath the blades, where it's just like solid and the blades just turn on top of it. Might have to turn it off, scoop it, empty it all the way out, scoop it and clean it, and start it over again.
It's like that communal pot of soup that's always on the stove simmering away. Just keep adding to it, adding to it, adding to it.
Yeah.
Before you know it,
Water.
it's months old.
It's your discharge line that gets thick.
Yeah, it's got a big like 1.25 inch ball valve on it, and I just keep and this is what I've been doing, and I don't know, Doug will probably chastise me on this because he's the cream honey guy in the group, but like when I pour a bucket into my bottling tank, I pour it. I don't let it just sit there and drain and drain and drain and drain. I'll pour it, and then I'll just set it to the side, pour the other one, set it to the side. And then when I go in the house to my creamer, I carry it inside, and I let all of that's stuck to the walls and the bottom and everything, that goes in. Every bucket gets emptied into the creamer. So I figured out that it's about 2 pounds of honey every time that I do it that's stuck to the sides and the bottom when I pour it in there. So Don't let Bob in Canada. He'll bring all of the beetles with him. I wouldn't doubt it. John, Paul, and Ringo all will be going. But
well, it's too late because you have already been up into Canada, and
Yep.
in fact, you've been on my farm.
been,
No beetles yet.
Dinner table. I get $20 a pound for creamed honey. I don't sell it by the pound. I sell it by the half pound, but I get $10 for a half pound. If you come to my table, the minimum thing that I have is $10. It doesn't matter if you're buying creamed honey, barbecue sauce, runny honey, whatever it is.
And that's important, I think. Don't put cheap things on your table, because so many people come to your table and it's a compulsion that they will buy the cheapest thing on your table, regardless of what the price is. If it's $20, they'll buy it. If it's $2, they'll buy it. They got to buy the cheapest thing at the table. So you just got to force them into something that's worth your while, right?
Well, they all come for runny honey, and they all leave with, try to get them all to leave with runny honey and a creamed honey.
Runny honey's the bait.
Yeah, they're coming for that. If they took their time to drive out here.
It's a bait for what you really want to sell them.
Yeah, it's like, hey, oh, what's that in that bottle? Oh, that's barbecue sauce. You want to try it? Grab a spoon out of that thing, and I'll. Oh, that's good. Let me get one of those. Okay. Have you tried lemon creamed honey before? No. What's that? Here, grab a spoon. I mean, it works for sure.
I never got a single offer sitting at the table, Brad.
Not a single offer.
I thought I was the cheapest one sitting there. So
You're the cheapest one.
I got 5 gallons or 50 gallons. What did I miss? We might have to turn our fans to the north for Ian. Tell you what, man. I tell you, if we could, I would. If there was a way that I could go up, even if it was a building 22 miles north or south of Ian, to say, hey, Ian, let's bring that honey down to the States and we'll sell it at $10 a gallon or $10 a pound, and I'll give you $5 a pound for it. And we'll split the profit. Ian would probably say, hell yeah, $5 a pound to what I'm selling it for currently. Be a good opportunity. We'd have to dig a trench underneath the ground so we wouldn't get all flagged and just pump it.
I would sure make a nice creamed honey though for you, Bob. That your flavored honeys, oof, that canola honey, there'd be nothing better. Nothing better for that.
Yeah, you'd sell it straight canola honey too. Guys would be buying that up. There's a certain palate that likes the mild taste. Yeah. You could form a clientele.
Bob, can you bring it back to liquid?
Oh yeah.
Not for very long.
You could do that and then cream it.
Yeah, he'd have to liquefy it and then send it through his cream process.
Yeah, because he wouldn't be able to. He wouldn't be able to flavor it otherwise.
Right, and if it's too far, even if it's started, you'll start forming the larger, coarser crystals. Doug knows way more. He's doing it, but you want to bring it to liquid and then start and accelerate the process. Yeah.
You wouldn't have to worry about spilling it.
I could do my
it's that fast, huh?
Yep.
I have to do my Charlie voice. I got my modified creaming method.
I've never heard that term before, Doug. I'm going to have to use that one.
Spill-proof honey.
Spill-proof honey, yeah.
I'll tell you what's worked really good on the doing flavored honeys for me has been, and it's a lot of extra work. I discovered it on accident, and what I did is I bought a bunch of those deli trays, the little deli dishes, and I thought, oh yeah, I'll do those. Those would be easier. They're not easier for my setup. I just figured that out the hard way. But what I found out helps out a lot better is if I take, once I've had it in the cooler in the deli tray, if I bring that deli tray back into the house and scoop it out of the deli tray back after it's been refrigerated for a while and put it back into the mixing bowl and add a little bit, like just cover the top with fresh creamed honey and spin it in the mixer, boy, does it ever give it a nice consistency and color and flavor and everything. It just is a superior product compared to what I was doing. So I'll say that.
You're still doing the peanut butter and jelly?
I am. But the problem I'm running into now is when it's 85 degrees outside, it's hard to keep creamed honey on the table because it will not be creamed for very long. Even with the styrofoam on it, it starts to separate and liquefy. So the only other option I have is to put it into my cooler, which will keep the sun off of it and keep it creamy, but it's not right in front of their face for them to look at and see, right? So that's something I gotta figure out.
So, Doug, did you keep your minimum contract with BeeMate, or did you let that go?
No, still have it.
Still have it? Did they make you deliver on it?
I haven't this year. This was a poor year for us, so we just told them we wouldn't be shipping this year.
Oh, yeah. They'll make you deliver next year, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you get, with the co-op, I don't know what the numbers are. I thought I heard one time that it was like 5,000 pounds or something like that.
As a minimum, yeah.
As a minimum. So do you get years that you're like you did, Doug, where it's like, we didn't really do that much this year. I won't be able to do that. Do they give you or next year, do you have to give them 10,000 pounds?
No, it's a 5,000 minimum, but if you don't make it, then you have to give them a written reason for it, and the board will accept it or reject you. Yeah, but usually they're pretty lenient on that. If it's a tough year with losses or let's say drought, something like that. But if it's perpetual year after year, then they'll
reconsider your application.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
They still buy a small amount from non-members too, only, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah. And they buy truckload contracts also. How's your cream sales, Doug?
I creamed up 9 barrels and we're just about out.
Oh, that's good. But is it fairly large retailers you're selling through?
It's a mixture of everything.
Yeah.
Some of them are large, but some of our biggest customers are little old ladies.
Okay. Are they coming to the house or do you sell it through the local store?
Most of it, they email Michelle. Got a daughter in Weyburn. If we're going to Weyburn, she posts a notice and some little old lady says, well, you're coming, I need 10 7 kilogram pails. And,
oh, yeah.
We'll take a load that way.
Are you pricing it on the shelf against the competitors, or are you asking a premium for yours?
We have.
I'm being very nosy. You don't have to answer if you don't want to. But
I really don't know what it sells for in the store. We have a set price that we sell to them, and whatever they might mark it up, it's up to them. So it might vary from store to store. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, because we all talk different market dynamics here. Like Bob is selling into a certain demographic, the impulse off the side of the road, and Brad, he's selling a very high premium quality product and Doug is selling into that. I'm wholesale, like I have 308,000 pounds, so I'm selling into the larger retail market. It's all different dynamics at play.
Yeah.
And we all started with one hive, and we're like, "Hey, if I could sell, I could have 1,500 more hives. That'd be rich."
Well, I think it's great that you can get into this business, and it's scalable. You start with one colony, and you scale that over time, and then you can kind of choose what kind of business model you want to engage in, sort of thing. And I decided early on kind of how I wanted to do it, and just put my nose to the grindstone and made it happen. And it's great. It's working really, really well.
But at what point do you decide? And this is kind of where I'm at, right? So the amount of work that I can do with my colonies by myself, I can far outsell what I can physically produce.
That's
At what
typical. That's
at what
typical in beekeeping, and then you have to move on to a model, maybe more like what Doug is doing, or even Ian. You know, when you get to that point.
Right from the start, when I started, right from the start, I was wholesale, just like the rest
Yeah,
of the farm. So my
yeah.
mindset was always in the drum, out the door, raise as many colonies as I can, possibly raise, produce as much honey as I can, out the door, wholesale. That's the last. Well, I sell to B-main, so it's not the last I see it.
But
But
then,
kind of,
yeah, my comment wasn't appropriate because Bob was saying the other way that, you know, your market, and I feel this too. I don't I don't really go out selling much because I sell everything I produce. Like, it just, that's it. It's gone. So I can't really expand my market share around here. Uh, so then, what do you do? What do you
so
do? Become Bob Binney, you know,
well
be a
see
beekeeper
that's
selling varietal honeys, and
yeah.
then buy honey,
Yeah, I'd
right?
argue then that you'd be stepping into a different demographic because right now I would argue that you're not competing against the Indian honey coming overseas, eh? Like
I'm not.
yours,
I'm
no.
I'm about
But
as far from that as possible.
but if you started, let's say buying my honey in as wholesale and packing it, and then starting selling more volume, you'd be you'd be entering into a different realm of marketing that honey. You'd be starting to compete against that honey from India because you're not. This isn't your local honey. They're very specific. Like you have a very unique honey. You're building a customer base around that. Buy my honey, and then it becomes the rest of us on the shelf. You know what I mean?
Right. The fact that my honey is, you know, once you taste it, you can taste that it's, and I will never tell my customer, oh, don't buy that crap canola honey. You know, I'll never talk like that. But I will tell them most of the honey that you'll see on the shelf and get anywhere is a canola honey or canola in the jar kind of thing. But so I'll tell them, you got to taste my honey because it's different than most of the honey you've ever tasted.
Yeah.
And they agree. Vast majority of my customers agree. That's different. That's, you know, because they're used to having in Manitoba, it's kind of honey is honey because almost all the honey is canola honey. And to
Yeah.
find something that's not, like, it's pretty well devoid of canola nectar. And they
Yeah.
taste that and they say, oh, hey, that's different. And that's my loyal customer.
Yeah. Yeah. You have a customer base there. Yeah.
well
But I
BMate has
can't,
that customer base too. Like we've built a clientele right across Canada with this specific palate, the taste, the creaminess, the mild flavor. Uh, we have that customer base too, and it's competing against that Indian honey coming in, that offshore crap, that doesn't taste like honey. So there's that, but we're still competing against that import honey coming in as drives the price down on the retail shelf.
it's hard because I can't attract a customer on price. I can't
No,
because of one of the things that I insist on is that I don't like it when I'm not the most expensive honey on the shelf,
yeah,
right? I've got to be the most expensive honey on the shelf, and so I
yeah,
can't try. I go into a new store. You know, I picked up those new stores in January. Well, they haven't sold very much because I need to get the customers in the jar, and when they see that my honey is, you know, $1 jar more money than the competitor, even the local competitors. I'm competing against guys that are local, but they're still canola honey.
yeah,
Um, I need to get them to say, why is this honey $1 more? I'm going to try it. Once they do, it's probably 98% chance that they're going to stay because you know. But so I can't. You know, I'm kind of handicapped there. I can't attract a customer on price. I just have to somehow convince them to get in the jar,
you
and
would
then
need
they'll.
to hire a beekeeper to come out into your area with a yard of 50 and buy his honey. You'd have to buy his honey at a little higher price than wholesale, though, just because
Yeah,
not
perhaps.
getting 200 pounds a hive, you'd be getting more like 100 or 110. What would you say you get?
Yeah, a good year, 120 pounds.
Yeah.
You know, a couple of years ago, I had one yard that I think it was 160 pounds, 165, but
Oh, yeah.
that was unheard of for me. So 100, 110 pounds generally.
No, there's a lot of honey through Bee Made that's not pasteurized. They do it through a selection process with membership.
Well,
Yeah, so it's moving more that way, and they're also going to the whole term raw, and whatever the hell that means. But there's a definition around raw,
Doesn't
and
mean anything.
yeah, now it's being sold as raw honey because there's a definition.
Raw means
around
whatever you want it to mean. That's what it means.
well, as far as like where I'm at, Brad and I are very similar, different scales, but similar in the fact that until November, I just worked at selling whatever honey I made, and it wasn't.
We're not different scale in sales volume. You're cleaning my clock when it comes to sales volume right now, my friend.
Well, I mean, but the thing is that I only worked to sell what I had, and I wasn't real urgent about it. Like if I made 1,000 pounds and went to the flea market 2 weekends, I could probably sell it all, right? But that wasn't what I wanted to do because I had a full-time job and I was just trying to sell what I produced over the course of the year. And since November, it's become, okay, I need to sell this to generate an income. And now I've sold my honey, and now I've had to start supplementing that and selling that honey. And now it's to the point that I can't buy enough honey. Currently, I can. I mean, if I had the money, I could buy enough honey. But that's the constant struggle, right? Like you said with farmers, right? You have these expenses. Like Ian's got to buy syrup. He's got to make sure he's got that money, right, to buy the syrup and feed. But I kind of backed into it, so I'm constantly up against the, okay, I can buy this much this week, and I have to sell it because the light bill's due next week. That type of thing to keep things going, and it's very hard at this point trying to grow something when you're starting off cash poor, right? It's easy, like my buddy. Oh, it just gets you a commercial kitchen. Bitch, if I had the money, I would have a commercial kitchen. That's the whole point, right? That's the thing.
I think you run into that point, Bob, and Mike and I have talked about it, though, is like our premium price is when I sell out of the house. And I have a lot of people that message me. They show up to the house and I leave it out for them. I sell it at my $15 a pound. But I'm also in 5 or 6 different stores, and they get it at $10 a pound. So that 50 jars that I sell to the store, I'm out $5 a jar. But again, I got shelf space somewhere else. So it's that tipping point of, do I just stick with moving it out of the house where I'm making the same amount of money, or do I take a slightly easier and get that name out there? But so again, it's that balancing point of how much you can produce, how fast you can move it. And we all get to a point when we get up to Ian's level, he's not selling his honey out of his house anymore. It's just way too much money. So it changes that tipping point. And how big do you have to grow that operation to stay making the same amount? So it's
a balance too between
fine line
competing with your stores and your stores undercutting you, or I don't feel right if I undercut my retailers, right?
No, absolutely.
But I also don't want them undercutting me. I get a little cranky because I think if they start undercutting me, then I start thinking, well, I'm not charging them enough.
Yeah,
right?
And it's funny too. Some people that like, oh, I've bought it at this store, but now they show up and buy it from the house.
I've never had anybody say anything. The prices do vary, and I think the prices in the stores have kind of caught up to my farm gate prices. But for years, the stores were selling cheaper in the store than you could buy in my driveway. I never had anybody say anything about that. But
yeah, they've always sold more, but it's
I completely was okay with that because if you want to buy it at the store, that's great. Buy it at the store. I make one trip to the store and I can move 5 dozen containers of honey. And if you come to my driveway, you always get a offer for a bee yard tour, or
Yeah.
some such thing, right? I'll stand in the driveway and talk to you as long as you want. That's the difference, right? So I don't feel bad about it at all.
I want to make a comment about James. He's got a thing on there about you can expand too much and can't sell it. There's markets out there that are available. When a few years ago, before COVID, we set up a booth at Agribition in Regina. It's a big agriculture show. We were approached by 2 Chinese individuals at that show that wanted to market honey through them. I think it was 200 cases of creamed honey. We signed a contract with the one fella, and like there's a market there for it. COVID come in, and so we never got back to it. It's a lot of extra work. My son works full time. I'm retired. I don't want to spend all my life in a honey house, so we don't really pursue that. But there's markets there if you want to go out and go after them.
It's for me, it's kind of weird, and it's all Brad's fucking fault. I'm gonna put it on him because when I was sitting around here doing nothing, he said, "Well, you going out to sell honey today?" And I'm like, "No, it's Monday. I only go out on the weekends." He says, "Well, how do you know you won't sell honey if you go out there?" Oh, you're right. So I went out there, and then every day.
You went out there and sold $600 worth of honey.
Yeah, so it's like and I've had to kind of. I feel bad. Like I didn't even go out today. I didn't go out to the table on Sunday, but I sold $250 worth of honey today. And I'm finding myself not going out to sell honey because I'm waiting on honey to get here. That is the most annoying thing for me is I don't have the honey. If I go out to the table, I'm going to be all the way out. And then when the store calls me and says, "Hey, I need 24 bottles. Okay, you'll have to wait till next Tuesday." They don't want to hear that. You know what I mean?
Sell it, man. Sell it.
What's your turnaround, Bob?
You can't hoard honey because you think somebody might want to buy it in the future. You sell it to the guy standing there with cash.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of don't go out and sit at the table because I'm not pushing
That's exactly what I'm saying, though.
I'm not pushing it at the table, but if they come up to my house, they can always get it jars.
Sell it. Just move it. Right.
Soon, Bob, you should be turning the corner with your own honey. You'll be able to not have to worry about, but still, I would purchase some.
I'll still have to be buying honey at this rate.
Yeah, but I mean, at least you'll have more profit to buy that honey.
Yeah, that's true.
By this time next year, you are almost guaranteed to double what you're pushing out.
Well,
because you're building a repeat clientele,
yeah,
and that's only going to start traveling, and word's going to travel. The table's going to be there all the time. Now that Brad's going to be convinced to work it 7 days a week.
That's right.
And this is going to spiral quickly out of control.
The turnaround time on the honey, though, that's kind of sometimes I order it on Monday morning because I know what I've sold over the weekend at that point, right? So Monday morning, order.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get it on Wednesday. Sometimes I get it on Thursday. Sometimes I'll get it on Friday. And sometimes it'll be next week on Friday. Now, this company's 45 minutes from me. I will happily go pick up the honey if it gets it in my hands, right? But I'll get a thing saying, "Okay, we got you all packed up, ready to ship."
Right.
And nothing, right? So
I was going to ask Doug, when you sent that honey to China, did you ask for money up front or did you get paid after delivery?
No, we had money up front, and he sent a truck to the honey house to pick it up.
Oh,
good. He paid the expense for traveling with it and everything.
That's important. Sending to China. I mean, all they have to do is just not pay. once it gets there.
Yeah.
That happened. I think B-Made tells a story of that where they sent a sea can out and, oh, well, I guess, yeah, we're not going to, it's not making spec or something like that. Just an excuse not to pay. So either they renegotiated or sent it somewhere else. I forget what the story was, but those guys, you can't trust them. So that's good to get the money up front that way.
It was a pain in the butt working with Canada Food over it. Like they had to inspect everything, and then they had to test so many jars. Then we had everything labeled, and then we had to relabel it because we didn't have anything in French on the label. And
what for it going to China?
Going to China.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
That's how we
Lord.
know it's pure.
Going to China.
It was them that was a real pain in the butt to work with.
Boy, the paperwork, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
James said they made about 12,000 pounds last year.
I can't believe James isn't a B-Made member yet. He's been after him for a number of years. He has a facility that's adequate. He produces well more than a minimum. It just doesn't make any sense to me why they're not accepting him as a member.
Yeah.
They're buying truckload contracts, and here's a guy wanting to be a full member. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Maybe he's got a name.
I don't know. Maybe there's a director on the board doesn't like him. You mean?
Maybe.
James seems like a likable guy.
Boots is going at it.
Well, James should sell to Doug, and Doug should fill his minimum contract, sell it to B-Made.
Now, when you sold to China, did you get better than you would through B-Made for that honey, or?
We sold it at our regular price that we were getting at the time. Yeah. Oh, yeah. A lot better price than B-Made. Like it was.
Yeah.
Your retail price.
Yeah, I'm not sure what we were selling for back then, but it was retail.
Yeah, I don't scrimp on that. I've got my I call it my wholesale price that I'll sell into a store, and that's rock bottom. I stick firm to that, and it works out. People will ask, "Oh, if I buy, 5-gallon pails of honey, can I get cheaper?" And it's nope.
Oh yeah, there's honey brokers. Yeah. I've never dealt with a honey broker. Many do.
Well, you wouldn't have to worry about import honey if you were exporting all your honey to China, Ian.
How many? I don't know. I should ask him how much honey goes to China now. Japan, I know we sell to Japan. We had the Japan company. What year was that? I forget what year that was. But the company themselves, they came out here and they walked through my honey house. They took a picture of the field where they're collecting the honey. They wanted the canola honey. Canola honey was very special to them. The owner was here. It was quite neat. How does B-Made compare to Odom? Odom is a broker. Probably price-wise, it's hard to tell because B-Made is a cooperative, so we get the average price throughout the year, where Odom is spot pricing, so whatever they're willing to pay for honey. It's hard to compare the two.
But you have other benefits with the co-op other than the honey sales. I mean, if you need supplies, you call them up and you get supplies, right?
Brad could do the same that way too. Yeah.
I saw a picture of a little packet of dehydrated honey that was used in coffee or tea or something, and it was in Japan.
Oh, okay. Yeah, now you say that. There's a company out in the Maritimes that is developing that product. I haven't heard anything about that since. I bet you it's expensive.
Freeze dried.
maybe. I think it'd be easier just take a spoonful of, or even those little packets. Bee-Mate sells those little packets. Those, I forget what they call them, little squeeze packets.
They're
They
like
sell them
little
at
ketchup
Starbucks.
packets.
Yeah, this is all through Starbucks.
Rick, you sell them too, don't you?
Little honeys is what they call them.
Yeah, I sell these little honey packets instead of the. I did the honey straws once for about 10 minutes, and I felt like I needed to shoot myself. It was so. So we transitioned to a honey packet.
Filling them, you mean?
Does really good. What's that?
The filling them was the terrible part.
Oh,
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, by the time you like filled them and then melted them and then figured you burned through them and like I'd lose like 25% of them, and I was like, this is just not. And then you'd be out in the wood, like people would buy them, and they were like, they're a pain to get into, and I'm like, I know, that's why I don't buy them. I just make them. But we switched over to the to a packet, and we sell a ton of the packets to a lot of runners, hikers, stuff like that, and they're like, oh, these are so much easier to get into, and they marketed way better, and they're easier for me to fill. And
there is a company, and I think it was in Florida when I saw it, when I was going around to some of the bee conferences. The only thing I can equate it to is kind of like the Capri Sun packets. Those, I don't know what those kind of packets are called, but it was kind of like that, and it was pumped right full of a pound of honey, and it had just a knob on it, kind of like kids get apple juice or apple sauce,
like little Go-Gurt things.
Yeah, and you would just squeeze the honey out of it until it was gone.
These are all the ones I do are about a half an ounce, so enough to.
Do you have a machine to do that? That fills it.
I do them all by hand, but I can do probably about. Oh, they actually fill fast. I actually use my 1 pound squeeze bottles. I fill them, and then I
impulse
I
seal.
We have like a sealer, and I seal, same sealer that you would use for the honey straws, but because it's a larger surface area, it's a lot easier to get them to seal, and you're not battling with like a pressure vessel that, depending on what you do, and then you don't have to trim anything. And these things, I can bang these out super fast, and I usually do them I do a lot of them mostly to order, just because. Like people will call and they're like, hey, I'll take 25 of them. So instead of me I can bang those out in 10 minutes. I can push out 25, 30 of them. And
I'd like to see that. Do you have any?
Yeah, I'll try to find a picture of it, and I'll send it down to you, Bob, because they're definitely, like, if you can get into certain, like I said, runners and stuff, they grab them up like crazy. So definitely a good market area for them.
Well, I think I'm going to carry on, guys. Nice chatting to you.
Ian.
We've been on right at 2 hours. Ian's been on all the show, and his battery didn't die.
No, I'm on my laptop right now. I'm in the office.
His battery's powered by wind power now. It's never going to die.
Doing well. Okay, cheers.
Have a good night, Ian.
But if you could dehydrate that honey and put it in little packets, all the coffee shops and restaurants in the country, pretty good market for it.
Yeah,
Is it dehydrated or freeze dried?
I think you'd have to freeze dry it.
Yeah, but that same difference, eh?
Yeah, but I guess you just put it on
final product.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
What do you get for your little packets, Rick?
I get $1.25 a packet.
In a half ounce?
For a half ounce.
So $2.50 an ounce. That's pretty good, Bob.
Yeah. And then so like if they buy 4 or 5, like I'll do 5 for $4, or we have like a big range of different things. But yeah, it's pretty seems to work out pretty good for us.
Yeah,
and
$40 a pound. That's pretty damn good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So, and we got pictures of them up on top of all kinds of. We have a whole bunch of different hikers that send us pictures up on top of the peaks and stuff. So it's pretty cool. It's all part of our, like, when we do little honey shows and stuff, we'll have all their pictures up on the wall and stuff. And so we have like all these different peaks that our honey packets have conquered. I have not
And you
conquered
just
any of
posted
them,
one
but
the
our
other day.
packets have made them.
But you know, that's pretty cool, because if you could get those into like a health food store where it's just a little display box where there's 12 of them in there.
Yeah, my last retailer that called, they ordered 100 of them, and then about a month later, they called and they were like, "Yep, we need another 100 of them." So
It's pretty good.
which is a pretty decent turnaround. Now it's obviously not as, and even not like on my retail side of the fence on something that I'm selling for $1.25. Like I don't even mark it down that much for them, and they still move them because, like they said, it's one of those. What's attractive to them is it's one of those register items that they can leave them up near the register and people just grab them. Or they started selling them as like, oh, that's a sample of that apiary's honey. So people will grab it, and then based on that, they're like, oh, they come back and they get more, and they're like, oh, and I've been able to get people to transition over our stuff.
How big are they?
It's probably, let me try to get you a picture. See if I can find one real quick.
So do people buy them to like as a snack kind of thing? Is that what people are doing?
Energy.
Yeah, so,
Energy.
Give me energy.
Little sugar rush.
Show you this. I don't know if you can see that. That's one of our hikers. And that's
pretty good size.
Yeah, so it holds about a half an ounce. And then I'll show you.
And do you buy boxes of those little packets and then just import them?
Yep, buy them by the, like, I think the last case I bought had about 1,000 of them in it, and they're pretty cheap. I already had the sealer. The sealers you can buy at like Michael's and stuff like that at the hobby shops. So a lot of people use them for sealing different things. But yeah, it's.
So you just use your 1 pound squeeze bottle and just squeeze it in.
So I fill them out of my honey tank, and then I squeeze them into those packets, and then I'll do like 10 or 15 at a time, then seal them, and then just keep going to kind of hit the orders. So trying to find another.
Yeah. Hey, Janice said something. Brad, that might be a way to get customers to try your honey.
That's exactly what I was thinking when I saw that comment.
Yeah, well,
it is a little more involved than that, but yeah.
Well, it's funny you mentioned too, because
James,
you hit a bunch of different little markets. Because I had one of the little old ladies from the retirement home. She was like, I do a tea party every year where I have like 50 of my friends come. So she bought 50 of the packets because she makes like little tea giveaway packets. So there was one of these in every bag now, and so people could make their tea, and there was local honey in it, and so it was kind of like I said, I think it opens up to a whole bunch of different little markets for you and little niche things for people to grab. I think at your table, Bob, they'd probably go really quick.
So Brian's question, that's what I was going to ask too. Are they pre-printed? You buy those packets printed?
Nope, they come in. They're clear on one side and they're white on the other. And I end up printing my own labels off. That's one of the only labels that I print myself. I order all my other labels for my honey jars because those are.
You put a label on it, okay?
Yeah, and I slap a label on every one of them.
But you probably could buy those pre-printed.
Yeah, you can.
I'm sure you could definitely find them.
Yeah, it would be economical. You just need to buy a good large number of them to get that. That's all.
Yeah, and for me, it's like it barely cost me anything to make the labels for myself for those. But yeah, that's.
James is floating on the ocean.
Oh, I wish I was floating on the ocean.
You floating in dry dock?
No, floating in dry dock. Yeah, this is a work trip. This one here, so just doing a whole pile of stuff to the boat.
Do the packets have a tear top?
Yeah, I was going to say those honey packs. There's a guy over here in Alberta that sells those as well. And you're right, the joggers, the runners, the fitness fanatics, you see them at the gym all the time as well. They just use those little packets everywhere. We were actually taking a look at one of those little machines that would basically fill the packet, heat seal it all in one with a tear top. They're actually not that expensive.
No, they're cheap. That's it's another one of those. It's kind of a very blown up version of it, but that's up on one of the hikes, and that one got away from me a little bit. That's a little bit more than 0.5. That was a friend of ours, so I filled them a little heavy, but
so I may have missed it. What's really involved in filling those up?
yeah, I literally fill them all by hand. So I get like a 1,000 pack, and I fill one of my 1 pound squeeze bottles, and I just manually fill them, and I have a little scale. So I'll kind of have an idea of where they need to be, and then I'll drop them in the scale, and it'll say 0.45. I'll give it another little bit of a squeeze, and and I huck them in another container, and then after I get like 10 or 15, I seal them, and like I said, I can literally do probably
a
10
heat sealer, like a pinched heat sealer kind of thing.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. It almost looks like a big.
Yeah, I have a 16-inch sealer.
It actually came with my honey straw setup that I bought. That was the sealer that they gave me. So I used the same sealer for those packets, and it works good. So
you could probably use one of them ketchup bottles, condiment bottles, and fill it full of honey. And
yeah, you could do that also. Yep. It is a little bit easier when it comes out of my warmer. That way it just fills the packet a little bit easier, and everything flows a little bit quicker. But
Rick, do you have those pictured online anywhere on a website?
I do. Let me see. Pretty sure they're on our site.
They do make a machine that will automatically fill them with volume as well. It's pretty slick.
Well, I mean, it'd be really cool, like somewhere like your charcuterie girl that's got that counter right there, Brad, where she's using your honey, but little display that has little packets of honey that they could buy right there.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I could get in a lot of coffee shops, tea shops, and whatnot.
MJ, I'm not ignoring you, other than I can only have 6 in the chat at the time, brother.
Yeah, Brad, if you go to my site, it's firstdoapiary.com, and you go into the shop section, you'll see the honeys, and you can like select the packet over the bottles, and there's some older pictures, but the packet is on there. We don't use that same squeeze bottle anymore and stuff, but the packets are on there, and it kind of shows a little bit more.
How much do you sell those little packets for?
They're $1.50 on the website, $1.25 if people buy them out of the house. So.
And the package is probably just a few cents.
Yeah, they're cheap. Like I said, I buy them by like the 1,000 pack. So.
But it's a half ounce of honey for $1.25.
Yeah, so the margin on it's really good. I mean, and even with that, I think the labels, when I make the labels probably maybe 5 or 6 cents per label, plus my packet's probably 2 or 3 cents. So I don't really have a lot into it.
You'll have me out there this weekend selling Ziploc baggies full of honey.
Well, and Bob, it'll take care of your supply problem, because you're only using really tiny amounts, and you just got to tell people, hey, I'm rationing. I don't want to run out. So
that's pretty cool. I like that. Honey to go. That's what you call it?
Honey. Yeah, we do it as the honey to go packets. But again,
I just have to talk my packer into it.
So keeps me grounded. I put a little bit of music on in the background and just sit there and fill a bunch of packets. So it's way easier than the straws. So
that's cool.
fill them down here, you could just gravity feed them. It is warm here. Holy smokes.
That's why you go to those places.
Yeah, except it should be floating, not sitting on dry dock.
Yeah, but look, you got a free hotel. Well, you know, it's like a Airbnb. You could Airbnb at dry dock.
There you go.
Oceanside view.
Well, there is a couple land crabs that are digging a hole just outside the boat here. So.
All right, we've been going for 2 hours and 10 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and cut the live stream. And thank you, everybody that showed up tonight. And, you know, the super chat from Steve, that's always much appreciated. And Ryan, what do you say? Hi, I just saw the chat and live show going on. Sort of discuss. What have you heard about survival rates over this past winter? Mine have been pretty good. You guys have any idea what your survival rates are right now?
Really, really good for myself.
So,
not yet. Not good outdoors. Indoors, unknown.
Yeah, I still have probably, I'm just checking the weather there, but we probably are about a week, maybe 2 behind. Normally we've got them out right around the 1st of April, but we're still getting temperatures, you know, minus teens down to minus 20 at night. So it's going to be a week or 2 yet before we get them out. It's kind of the tough time of year. You know, if you didn't get enough food in them, this is where they're going to starve out. So, but right now, we did put a short up just before I came down here, and the hives look nice and hot. So still lots of activity in there.
We've got 1 yard I could check them in. There was 16 hives and 1 dead out of 16.
Well, that's pretty darn good.
Yeah. I don't know whether the others are like that, but
How many do you have now, Doug?
God, I couldn't even tell you. 8 yards, 8 yards, and I don't know what we went into winter with. 30, 35 hives in each yard.
There you go. Perfect.
all right, y'all. Well, I'm going to cut the live stream. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Good night, everyone.
Night, everybody.
Good night.
Say good night, Mr. Boots.
And